Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Happy Hour. Tonight we're going to talk about 6 mistakes that restaurant managers often succumb to. Yeah, we're going to talk about the restaurants tonight, primarily casual fine dining and up. But if you work in casual dining or a bar or a club, a lot of this is still going to be applicable, I think. Now, this is based on years I've spent working in, leading, launching, and consulting restaurants all around the country. But it's also colored by my time spent eating and drinking in them. So if this begins to resemble a rant at some points, you've been warned. Mistake number 1, failing to pay enough attention to the entrance of our restaurant. This includes where guests actually come in and out, as well as the podium. Spend time there and pay attention to the greeting that we're giving, how our guests are actually being received, as well as the farewell. This one's actually more important. What is that final impression that we are leaving people with? The second reason that we want to be up there is because how you seat, particularly on a busy night, can be the difference between a hit or a miss when it comes to your nightly number. You never want to leave this in the hands of a less experienced team member. A sub-issue here is our tendency to place our least qualified and least developed team members at the podium. And spoiler alert, putting more of them back there generally doesn't help. For now, focus on spending just a few minutes at that front door. Listen for feedback, lead by example, give those greetings and those farewells, make a relationship. And it goes without saying that during peak times, be prepared, if necessary, to work that podium like a violin. Because if you get it right at the door, everything is going to flow on the floor. Mistake number 2, failing to pay enough attention to the bar. Bars, ladies and gentlemen, are where drinks come from, and drinks should make up a significant segment of our revenue. Drinks also tend to carry better margins than food. So, what are we looking for back there? Same thing. How are our guests being greeted? Are we offering that same level of elevated service that is part of our brand promise? Or is this the first thing that starts to fall off when we get a little busy? Also, do we have servers loitering in the well, waiting for drinks while our guests on the floor aren't being tended to? Be prepared to step into either role, either sling drinks for the servers or tend to the guests. But keep in mind, a really strong bar cast can be your ultimate secret weapon, because they can still give diners who are waiting for tables a beautiful experience in the bar or the lounge and take pressure off the floor. Did you know that your bar setup can either add or shave seconds off every order, and that seconds turn into minutes, and minutes add up to hours, and hours cost money? Now, I know that construction is generally outside the role of most venue leaders, and even you owner-operators out there may have inherited a second or third generation space. But even with a crazy footprint, there are many things you can do to actually get those seconds back, besides blowing up the bar. We actually teach a class on it in BevEdge called Fix Our Broken Bar. So, hit us up. Mistake number 3, failing to pay enough attention to the kitchen. Do you believe that the back of house is from Mars while the front of house is from Venus? If you do, you're not alone. Now, in the kitchens that I worked with, they were brigade-style kitchens, which means the whole culinary team very much reported to the EC, short for executive chef, whereas the bussers, runners, servers, bartenders, and hosts reported initially to the shift leader, but then the venue leader, which could result in a complete breakdown of communication and sort of a forming of 2 camps. What is wrong with that? We can't have 2 camps, we're one team. So as leaders, what can we do about that? Be present at the pass. Make a note of any lags as they start to happen before they get too serious, and also the reason why. This is not to assign blame. This is where we go wrong. Instead, it's to figure out A, what can I do about it right now? Can I expedite? Do I run food? Do I get really communicative with the guests before they get pissed off at me? And second, what can we do about it going forward? Because remember, our job is about half introspection and analytics and half action. Here's where effective communication with the kitchen really comes in handy, because sometimes it's going to be a kitchen flaw and sometimes it's going to be a service flaw. Make a point of touching base with whoever led the kitchen on a particular shift. It could be the EC, it could be the CDC, it could be a SU. Ask for feedback, give feedback, and agree to work together on the issues going forward. Also, if you have an executive chef who is not always in the kitchen or on premises, as some of us don't, make a point of meeting with him or her at least once a week to run through all of those things as well. Mistake number 4, failing to elicit feedback from guests. Yes, we're talking about the infamous table touch, but we want to reframe this so that it's not simply a box check. Stop approaching guests when they're chewing, laughing, arguing, crying, just to get it done. We're trying to create the impression that we genuinely give a shit. This is going to mean turning into really good listeners, but with a little bit of practice, you will become very adept at detecting bullshit. You will learn who wants to be happy and who wants to be right. But don't get seduced by this idea that by asking for feedback, that you're somehow cultivating negativity. That's not how it works. They're just going to write about it on the interweb instead of saying it to you first. And the public at large, the vast majority of them, are going to believe it. The upside is you're going to have a lot of opportunities to make relationships and turn a first-time guest into a regular and a regular into a loyal, lifelong ambassador for your business. This, in and of itself, can be a huge competitive advantage. The downside is, and this is hard, you're gonna have to learn to own the mistake. Not just your mistakes, your cast's mistake, your kitchen's mistake, corporate's mistake, the marketing team's mistake. Resist the urge to pass blame, to explain yourself. Nobody wants to hear about the corporate office. Even if you're telling the truth, own the mistake and take the power back by focusing on how we're gonna make it right. Mistake number 5, failing to adequately analyze our POS reports. Now, venue leaders, we should know our cover counts by shift, day of the week, season, as well as our PPA, that's per person average, our general P-mix breakdown, and our best sellers in our bones. Now, if you're feeling out of touch with those numbers, it's okay. They're all available in the POS in whatever snapshot, range, or historical format you can dream up. So take a moment, get in there, get up close and personal with the POS. Now, what are we looking for? Why are we doing that? Let's just take the PPA. What would happen to our revenue if every single guest bought just one more thing? It could be a dessert or a beverage or a side or an app. Actually do the math on that. Now, what can we do to make fantasy reality? What sales tools, what strategies, what incentives can we give our cast to accomplish exactly that? What kind of upsells and product pairing opportunities can we build into our menus and our programs going forward? Another thing you should do is be sure your POS is correctly configured to analyze day parts. That's going to mean recognizing sales when the guest actually places the order, not when they pay their check. Now, just take lunch for example. What can we do to build up that particular day part? What kind of prefix or lunch specials will specifically drive that business? Now, if you're open during the day, but you don't specifically serve lunch, you're probably wasting your own time because mid-afternoon can be a little bit of a void. But think about what we can do with that. Maybe cater to our remote workers with a kick-ass coffee bar menu, or offer select wines by the half glass for people who do want a day drink but don't want to be poured into a fucking cab. Happy hour, and again, if you live in one of those incredibly shitty states like this one that does not allow happy hour drink specials, you should have a happy hour food menu at least. Think small plates and shareables, that kind of thing. That should roll us quite nicely into dinner. And this is going to be probably my first hot take. After dinner. consider closing at least 30 minutes to an hour after your closest competition. The reason being is one, that all but ensures you're going to pick up the late night diners. And two, you're going to pick up those people who dined elsewhere but want that last drink or dessert and coffee somewhere else. Now back to the reports. Is there a notable difference between your revenue during the weekdays and the weekend? Of course, you say, that's the restaurant business. Them's the breaks. But is there anything we can do to use our weekends, which are already banging, to build up our week? I'm going to give you one. Ask your team at the stand to graciously invite any guests who can't be accommodated on a weekend night and give them a complimentary appetizer card or equivalent that you've had printed up in advance. But set the parameters of the offer so that it's only valid during the days of the week that you want to build up. Mistake number 6. Here we go. Closing at the first possible moment. Now, it goes without saying that we have to keep hours, which means honoring the most basic part of our brand promise, whether it's written on the door or online. Even if it is a holiday, take the 5 minutes and make the correction in Google and Apple Maps. But I'm old school. If we close at 10, for example, that means that a party should be able to come to the door at 9:59 and receive the exact same welcome, hospitality, menu, atmosphere, and experience as any other guest. What does that mean? That means that the kitchen is not blaring music that is audible alongside the restaurant's chosen soundtrack because we're closed. We are closed when the last guest has left the building. Now here's my real hot take. If you're one of those venue leaders that have ever uttered the words, "If you have time to lean, you have time to clean," to a cast member, it's not that you're wrong, if perhaps a little unimaginative. It's that cleaning should never take priority over interacting with guests and selling. Again, I completely agree with the importance of a pristine workspace. I believe that we should leave our workstation better than we found it. It's part of the promise to each other. But our cast needs to be able to multitask, which is actually the art of doing many things one at a time, but very, very quickly, which means we can actually accomplish 2 things here. We can simultaneously have a beautiful, clean, pristine workspace, and we can create a beautiful experience for our guests. That means not ripping up the spill mats in front of our guests or allowing steam to billow out of the glass washer in our guest's face, or frantically sweeping and vacuuming under their feet in the dining room. So who or what is responsible for this epidemic? I believe it has to do with certain leaders' belief that efficient leadership means herding guests, the team, and themselves out of the building as soon as possible. And if a guest has the temerity to order dessert or that last drink, well, we're just gonna frantically scrub while ignoring the most basic hospitality functions until they finally get the hint and go away. Hell, we may go a step further. We may change the music, we may turn the air down, until our guests, even if they don't realize it, are so uncomfortable and annoyed that they eventually leave. Leaders, do you realize it's our job to get people into the building, not to get them out? Do you realize that? But you say, it is our job to manage payroll. Yes, but hear me. Those late sales should more than make up for the hourly wages of our closing cast, particularly if we're doing our cuts. But leaders are typically salaried. We don't get any extra for staying those few minutes late. We really want to go home. Or maybe we want to go have a drink before all the other bars rush everybody out. I respect that, but it will never be a reason to give substandard service, a shit experience, and squander the potential relationship between us and the loyalty of a lifelong guest. Hospitality is a calling. It should never be a chore. And it's something we all must take pride in, which means never choosing to intentionally do it badly. That's it. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to finish my glass of Chenin Blanc and Viognier. Cheers to you all, and I will see you soon. Bye.